Welcome back to the Lance Roberts Podcast. I'm Danny Ratliff, Certified Financial Planner, here with Medicare Specialist Brooks Boyd of Senior Savings Organizations. We've talked a lot about the enrollment periods, what Medicare does, what it does not cover, and some of the confusing parts. Want to jump into Medicare Advantage and talk, exactly what is it? Why would you use it, or why would you not, for that matter?
Mm-hmm. Well, Medicare Advantage, also known as Part C.
Okay.
Again, different parts of Medicare, A, B, C, and D. But Medicare Advantage, quite simply, Danny, is private Medicare. The Balanced Budget Act of 1997 was passed by Bill Clinton and enacted Medicare Advantage. And in essence, it was designed for folks that really couldn't afford a supplement. And so it privatized Medicare. It's Medicare is provided not by the government, but by private insurance companies like United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, Humana. Those are just some of the ones. There's many Medicare Advantage carriers in that space now. But again, it was designed for folks that really could not afford a supplement, but they needed protection against those gaps. So Medicare Advantage plans came along. I will say that in Houston, they're about 40% of the market. And I just read an article the other day, Danny, that said that Medicare Advantage plans about 20 years from now may be 70% of the market. So they are different than Medigap and original Medicare Parts A and B. By law, they are designed to cover at least the minimum of what original Medicare covers, but often they go above and beyond that. And so they will provide other benefits that Medicare and supplements do not. One, for instance, is dental, vision, and hearing benefits.
So it's more comprehensive in that aspect.
It is more comprehensive. They do. Some even provide for transportation costs to and from the hospital.
Wow, that's great.
Meal plans, those are becoming popular. The I fall and I can't get up button. A lot of those.
Oh, man, that's cool.
It is cool. And I tell you what, I work with folks from all different ends of the spectrum. And I have clients on Medicare Advantage as well. And they love their plans. These are folks that typically cannot afford a supplement. And they realize that there are certain confinements with a Medicare Advantage plan. The biggest one, Danny, is that they are confined to a network. Unlike supplements where there really is no network, the network is, does that doctor take Medicare assignment? And as we talked about earlier, the vast majority of doctors do. With a Medicare Advantage plan, there is a network, either an HMO or a PPO. And with an HMO, if they go outside a network, guess what? That Advantage plan is not going to pay. If they are in a PPO and they go outside a network, it's just not going to pay as much as if they were in network. So
maybe explain a little bit what that means, because I think a lot of times the HMO and PPO, people get lost in the words of that. In reality, I guess a good example around here would be Memorial Hermann may have their own network, or Kelsey-Seybold. Is that right?
Absolutely. All that means is they have to stay within a certain group of hospitals and or doctors. And if they have a primary care physician and they need to go to a specialist, they'll have to get approval on most of these plans to go to a specialist. There's a few more loopholes. There's some co-pays. There's some co-insurance that's involved. Now, the government has capped how much you can spend on any given year for a Medicare Advantage plan, and that is $6,700. So HMO plans are typically lower than that as far as the maximum out-of-pocket cost. PPO plans typically bump around, the upper limit for that. But there are some protections. But you're talking about for a Medicare Advantage plan, for an HMO, there are a lot of plans out there that have a zero premium, and that's very attractive to folks
not bad.
That can't afford a supplement. PPO plans, $15, $30 on the high end for a monthly premium. Now, there are gaps, again, maximum out-of-pocket cost. So I always recommend that they strongly look at a hospital indemnity plan. And what that is, Danny, a hospital indemnity plan just pays for a lot of those gaps. Doesn't fully protect them, but for $30, $40, $50 a month, they can protect themselves. So getting back to what the difference in a Medicare Advantage plan, not only does it have more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, transportation costs, they also have prescription drug costs that are included in these Medicare Advantage plans. So for folks that are on a budget that just can't afford, they're living on Social Security, these are great alternatives for them.
Now, you make it sound really, really attractive, right? But there are some pitfalls with the Medicare Advantage plan. So say you're really healthy, you don't see the doctor very much, and you think, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get on this plan. Is that a good idea to go ahead and utilize Medicare Advantage like that? Or is it better to go ahead and pay a little bit extra, get on the traditional Medicare Part A, B, and D? What would you do?
You know, that's a question I'm asked all the time, Danny, and my response is it depends on the individual.
Okay.
You know, if you are a high net worth person and you want to get on an advantage plan, now that typically isn't the case, but they can self-insure. Now the pitfall, probably the biggest pitfall is if after a couple of years in the plan, they want to go back to original Medicare and a supplement, they're going to have to requalify via health questions. So that's the biggest concern, the biggest pitfall. In addition to that, you want to make sure if you get on an Advantage plan that they're going to have a really good network. You want to do your research or work with a specialist that will help you guide through that. Get a list of your doctors, not just your primary care physician, but your specialist, all your prescription drugs. Make sure that they're all going to be covered with that particular Advantage plan.
Well, and so I guess you mentioned something that I think really it probably hits home with a lot of people in the sense that you have to re-qualify for regular Medicare if you want to go back. So meaning that if you get some pre-existing condition, that could have an impact on your ability to get regular Medicare. Is that correct?
That is correct. And my uncle is a prime example. He is on a Medicare Advantage plan, and my aunt is not. She has a supplement. And she made the comment the other day, well, yes, Charles, he's stuck in his plan because Charles has had quite a few issues. So he cannot move. He's stuck with his Medicare Advantage plan.
Oh, man. See, that makes things tough. We are here with Brooks Boyd, Medicare specialist. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about why you should work with a Medicare specialist and what are the things that they can do that you can't. Some of the things I think that, Brooks, you've probably persuaded a lot of people to maybe give somebody a call like yourself. You're listening to Lance Roberts' podcast. I'm Danny Ratliff with Brooks Boyd. We'll be right back.
You can get daily real investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet. Sign up for Lance's newsletter now at realinvestmentadvice.com.